Get ready to embark into the art of conscious breathing, where the magic lies today in breathing less to breathe right. In this video, I will explain you 4 points. Point number 1, why do we have the urge to breathe? Point number 2, why is it important to control our oxygen intake? Point number 3, the positive impact of conscious breathing. And point number 4, finally, I will give you 2 tips for improved general health and mental well-being. Let's get started. So point number 1, why do we have the urge to breathe? Well, the simple reason is not because you have a lack of oxygen, but this is because your body produces as a waste product carbon dioxide. And we have chemoreceptors in the body, and especially the one in the lungs, that detects it and asks us to breathe. Which means that we're going to the point number 2, the more tolerant you are to carbon dioxide, the less you will have to breathe. So why the heck is it important to breathe less? Well, for the simple reason that when you breathe a lot, you will take a lot of oxygen in, but you will also exhale a lot of carbon dioxide out. When we talk about breathing in the blood, there's what we call an homeostasis between oxygen and carbon dioxide. When you do not pay attention to your breathing and you breathe a lot, the amount of oxygen in your blood increases. What impact does it have? Well, the impact it has that when there's no balance between oxygen and carbon dioxide, the delivery of oxygen to your organs and muscle tissue is not optimal at all. This is why it has a negative impact and decrease the delivery of oxygen to your organs and muscle tissue. That's the point number 1. Point number 2, if you tend to breathe a lot as well, and now we're going to go into the autonomic nervous system, which is the one that controls your heart, controls your breathing, it controls your blood pressure and more. And it has 2 parts. You have the parasympathetic nervous system, which is more the rest and digest, and you have the sympathetic nervous system, which is more the fight or flight, the action, the activity. Well, when you tend to breathe a lot, you will stimulate the fight or flight, and this will most likely increase the stress level that you will have. This is why those are the 2 points I'm explaining you now, why you should control your breathing and the oxygen intake. Now the 3rd point, before we go into the tips and the 2 breathing techniques, is why conscious breathing is positive for us. Well, it's like a chain of domino that goes like this. First thing first, conscious breathing. If you breathe through your nose, most likely you will breathe into the diaphragm. The diaphragm will help the lung expand, which means that you will have a better oxygenation and better exchange of gas in the lungs as well. This will also have an impact on your nervous system, you will trigger more the parasympathetic nervous system, which I explained was more the rest and digest part of your nervous system, which is more relaxing. And finally, you will also breathe less oxygen going through the nose and consciously breathing. So this is the reason why conscious breathing equals conscious living. Now guys, before I go on the 2 tips to improve the general overall health and the mental well-being, if you guys like the content, if it's really helpful for you, please give me a like and make sure to subscribe for some more information and for some more videos like this. Let's go for the last one. Part number 4, 2 tips. Tip number 1, the technique is called the 5-5. It's simply being conscious in your breathing and trying to breathe in for 5 seconds and breathe out for 5 seconds. This will enhance obviously your parasympathetic nervous system. It will give time for your lung to have a nice gas exchange between oxygen and carbon dioxide, and it will make sure you relax as well. Tip number 2, or technique number 2, you want to try to increase your carbon dioxide tolerance, meaning that you want to make sure that you don't have this urge to breathe too often. In order to do that, you have a simple technique which I took from the book from Mr. McKeown, The Oxygen Advantage. You can use it while you're on a computer, while you're walking. It's simply, you breathe in normally, you exhale. Instead of breathing right away after exhaling, you stop for 2 or 3 seconds. and breathing again. Make sure that you're not gasping for air afterwards, like there's no point for it. You want to be able to do that and be able to recover really nicely afterwards. So I would breathe in and out for 3-4 times, then hold it for 3 seconds, and then go back to it again. Do that as often as you can, maybe 3, 4, 5 times a day. The more you do it, you will quickly build up, especially if you go from a really low tolerance. Guys, hope you enjoy the content. Keep it up and let me know how the experience goes with these 2 techniques, if it helps you guys for your breathing and general overall health and mind. Keep it up.